is Jackie Vicaire. I'm Jackie Cashin. That's my maiden name. Isn't that interesting? And I'm the Bids and Contracts Manager for the Connecticut Library Consortium. I'm here with my associate, Amanda Stern. She is the Events and Special Projects Manager, and she's going to be helping me with the webinar this afternoon. We're going to be talking about the bid. We're going to be talking a little bit about CLC and who we are and what we do. We're going to go over the bid documents, and we'll have time at the end for some questions and answers. So we are the CLC, the Connecticut Library Consortium. We are a resource center of over 950 academic, public, K-12, and special libraries. We follow state and federal bid laws to do public bids for libraries. We do member trainings and roundtables. We have a job board for librarians. We do a performers catalog for library programming, and we do events and special projects for libraries. So we're kind of a one-stop shop for the libraries in Connecticut, and we represent all of them to do the bidding that we're doing. So we also work closely with the state library, the legislators, Board of Regents for state academic institutions, and other state consortiums. Our mission is to do public bids on a wide variety of products and services so that each individual institution does not have to go out to bid on their own. We provide a selection of vetted and awarded suppliers for libraries to choose from. So we're a benefit to our members. We have lots of different types of products and services on contract, and we do large bulk contracts so that we can cover all of the different members that we have. So we're a benefit to members by doing all of the bid work for them. And we're a benefit to vendors because instead of going to reply to individual library bids, you only have to respond to this one bid, and you become the exclusive resource, and you no longer have to compete with other vendors for this work. The vendor becomes a Connecticut state supplier for libraries and other associated members. The vendor does pay a 2% fee to CLC through an administrative fee. This fee pays for the employees at CLC to do this work, and it also supports the libraries that have a resource center to provide the service. The members also pay a stipend into the organization, which is a common practice in resource centers. And we're also a clearinghouse for training, events, public bids, and other services that we offer our members. So in this training, we're going to be going through the timeline, and we're going to be talking about who decides. And we're going to be talking about what the best way to bid is, and we'll be moving on to finally the product and discount sheet that you've been given, that you hopefully have downloaded from the state website, and we'll be going through how to fill that in and some tips for doing that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go through the master plan. Every single bid has a master plan and a master workflow. So if you have worked with us before, you've seen these master workflows. We have a pre-bid meeting, which we had for this bid in November of 2022. We do all the work that is established with pre-bidding, establishing key dates, doing member surveys. We contact suppliers. Some of you have been contacted, and other ones are just joining us now. Then we write the RFP based on that information, and from the survey, we've created a contact suppliers list. So our members were able to tell us who they work with, who they like to work with. And then we put together that list and we send it out to all of our suppliers. Then we have a bid meeting and we create the bid file when we're writing the bid RFP. And so all of that process has been completed. So now we are here at the 24th, and we put out the bid. So we advertise the bid both on our Constant Contact and also on this Connecticut DAS site. And some of you probably have received it there. We send out our letters, and we answer the questions that were asked during the bid process. So this bid will close on 2/28. So what happens after the bid closes? After the bid closes, we have a post-evaluation meeting. Our whole team, there's 5 of us, 6 of us, 5, 6. And we open all the bids, and then I compile all the information and get the bids ready for the evaluators. We have 2 evaluators on this bid. They're both librarians, and we also have several members of our team who will be doing the evaluations. So I will do the compiling. I have evaluations that I do that are more statistical and have to do with pricing. So the evaluators will answer some questions in regards to the bid, and I will be doing more of a statistical analysis. And then we will meet on the 28th of March. So that's our post-bid team meeting. And at that time, we have recommendations from the team about who to award. So when will you be hearing from me? Well, you can be, the soonest you'll be hearing from me is right after the bid if I am missing something. Otherwise, you'll be hearing from me at 3/30/2023, and that's when we send the award and no award letters. So we have a very strict timeline. I don't think that we've wavered from the timeline because we build in a lot of time to do all the work. So you'll be hearing from me on the 30th of March, and then I will prepare all the contracts and send those out to the executive director of our institution for final approval. Then we will send you a draft on 4/13. The draft is a draft. It's not a final contract. One of the things that we have included in this bid is the final contract, what it looks like. Hopefully all of you have downloaded it. The reason why we do that is because we want you to take a look at it before we get to this point. So we know exactly what you're concerned about, and we can negotiate at that time. And it gives us plenty of time to look and see what your, what your concerns are. So some of the concerns we can just change. Others we will have to discuss to see if there's better language that we might use, or maybe your legal departments have better language that you can use. So we'll go through all of those drafts and go back and forth and see if we can come to a contract. We hope to have the contracts finalized on 4/30/2022. And that means that you'll receive a final contract. The contract goes live, I believe, July 1st. July 1st. And the reason why there's a couple months between when we finish the contracts and when the contracts go live, as you can see at the bottom, we transfer all of the bids and contracts to the marketing team. They build a web page for you. They build a bid guide. We do outreach webinars to members, and now that takes a little bit of time to set up. So we need about a month and a half to get all of that work done. And by the time we hit July 1st, all of that work is done, and we have our big meeting and let our members know that there's a new contract for them to be using. So this is a bit a reopening. So there are suppliers on the contract already, but they do not carry any of the things that we've asked for in this reopen. They're mainly library supplies, circulation supplies, things like that. So this is all new categories. So we do not have an incumbent. If that's one of your questions, we can't really tell you what the bid is doing in terms of how much the spend will be, because you will become the incumbent if you're awarded. So we'll be doing those evaluations of the next 3-year contract to see how we can market the contract and have members purchase off of it. So this is our master workflow. If there are any questions, just please let me know in the chat. I have Amanda there and she'll let me know. The second thing I'd like to go through is the bid document itself. So this is our scope of services. Scope of services tells you a little bit about the Connecticut Library Consortium. We are a consortium of 950 Connecticut academic, school, public, and special libraries. The number is growing. We have almost all of the public libraries. I think we do have all of them except maybe one. And there's 1 or 2 that we don't have as part of our membership, only because they're small, tiny volunteer libraries and they don't really have a staff. They just have like mostly volunteers. So we have, I think, 72% of the K through 12. We have almost all of the schools. almost all of the academic institutions, and the newly formed consortium of community colleges are part of our consortium. In fact, the community colleges did our evaluation for the academic digital resources contract that we just completed. So we had some really great input from the community colleges Board of Regents on that bid. So this is the scope of services. This just tells you a little bit about us at the top. One of the things that we wanted to mention is that small and minority businesses are evaluated separately. There's a law in Connecticut called the 25% set aside by most consortium officers. And basically what that means is that 25% of spend in a municipality should be on minority and small businesses. So we encourage small and minority businesses to bid on our contracts. We'll help you through how to do the bid documents, and we evaluate them in their own group. So that's important to know. If you have questions about being a small or minority business and how to register for that, on the Connecticut website, in the bid, there are some links for you to go to the State of Connecticut Small Minority Business application, and you'll need to have filled out the federal SAM system application. And then it's a very, very quick and easy form. I think it's only 1 or 2 pages to fill that out to be registered in Connecticut as a small business. This is our category supply list. As you can see, there aren't any library supplies on this list. And specifically, we have a supplier that does specifically library supplies, and that they were awarded. We have several other suppliers that have been awarded in makerspace items. That's also not on here. So what we're looking for is archival suppliers, any arts and crafts suppliers, and as you can see, many others. So this list is not inclusive of everything that might be out there. We have an additional relevant category place, and that is because we don't know everything out there that libraries buy. We know most of it, but there might be some more interesting products that you have that might not be, on this list, but might be related to this list. So if you're filling out your Exhibit B, if you have an additional category, you can put it under additional relevant category. The second thing is the entire catalog category. The reason why we put this in here is because there are suppliers who only have a few things, and those will end up on the Exhibit B. There are some suppliers who have many, many, many things. So if you have many things and a lot of those things don't fit in this list, you can offer an entire catalog discount. And it's usually a smaller discount, but it's on everything else. And the reason why we ask you for that is because our members often will be doing an invoice, and they have to finish their invoice and buy the other things that their library needs. So if we have a supplier on contract that has an entire catalog discount, it means that they can buy anything that you have on their invoice, and it helps them to complete that invoice. It also helps them stay on a consortium contract, which precludes them from having to bid, and it helps them stay with the supplier that we want them to buy from. So if you have something that doesn't necessarily fit in those 14 categories or 12, and you want to put an entire catalog discount, I definitely encourage you to do that, because it really does help the members to complete their invoices. We do have a supplier, for instance, on the supplies contract that sells supplies, but also sells a little bit of office furniture. And we have a furniture contract, so they're not on contract for furniture. However, if someone wants to buy that office chair and they're using that supplier, they can then pick up that office chair on that invoice. And so it's an important category. I encourage you to use it if you have a lot of things that are in your catalog. This is specifically the commodity specifications. These are just read them, and if you have any questions specifically on any of the commodity specifications, please let me know. One of the things we do ask is if you have shipping charges. We did have a little misunderstanding about shipping charges. We're not necessarily asking you to make sure that you put the shipping charges with your products, we're asking you to identify what they are. We understand, of course, about the supply chain issues and some of the shipping issues that many suppliers have, and that sometimes shipping does have to be charged separately. So I just want you to be encouraged that we do understand that that might be a possibility. So here's the freight or delivery charge. We do encourage you to put the pricing and the shipping. It just says it's desirable that the prices include shipping and handling, but you're not going to be judged on this particular thing. It's just easier for members to know exactly what the cost is. But we do include the shipping charges on a separate form because our evaluators will get the discount and price form, and the shipping and delivery charges will be on a separate form that won't be with the evaluators, but will specifically be with the vendor information. And we'll go over that when I go to the Exhibit B. So it's okay if it's separate, it's convenient if it's not. That's what I wanted to let you know. I'm going to move down to the prevailing wages clause. We have included some federal and state laws in this bid that we include in every single bid. The prevailing wages clause may not apply to our suppliers in this particular bid, but I want you to know that some of these federal and state clauses will be relevant to some members of the vendor community, but it won't be relevant to all members of the vendor community. So if it's not relevant to you, I just want you to not be concerned about it. It's informational. And if you'd like to read about prevailing wages, it was a significant factor on our furniture contract and on our library equipment contract, but it may not necessarily apply to you. So you're welcome to read them, but they're there for informational purposes only. We have a section for ordering and customer service. We do encourage you to provide a toll-free number and a specific person for our members to call. There are a lot of members, and we are advertising you on our website, and we'll put your person there so that we can make sure that the members specifically go to your company and use our contract with our discounts. So a lot of this customer ordering and customer service will be right there on the webpage for them to see. So we encourage you to send us that. And also there's sales and marketing here. We have a biannual report for our 2% that we administrative fee. We'll send that to you as a very basic report. It's really only got 3 lines. It asks what library you're working with, what the total amount sold was, and what they saved. So there's just 3 lines, and the second page of that Excel spreadsheet is a place where you can update us on who the latest contacts are. So it's a very simple report. We send it out in January and we send it out in July. It's due back in February and it's due back in August. So you don't have to worry about keeping specific numbers and making us a special report. We'll just send it to you. It's a very easy report to fill in. We do ask you for some digital files, logos, marketing videos, product images, because we're going to build a page for you. And the pages some of our pages have little commercials on them. Some of them have pictures. They're very interactive and informative. So the members enjoy going to our pages and finding products and services that they like. So we will ask you for those. Normally what happens is after we have awarded our marketing professional that we have, will send out a marketing form and you'll start to connect with them and they'll build a page. So we'll go over that once the bid is over. So CLC provides a membership list to all of our vendors, and you could use that list to start outreach, also to compare who is a member who is using our contract and need the discounts. So we send out a list once or twice a year, and every single month we update the list to tell you who's on it and who's not. So are there any questions so far in these sections? Okay, So one of the things that we're asking for is a company and product description in the bid. We find these to be very, very helpful for our evaluators. We ask for vendor qualifications in the profile, but we also ask for a summary of your solution, a summary of your discounts, whether you have market share in Connecticut Libraries. And the reason why we ask this is because are we going to be, responding to an already built market, or are we going to be building a market for you? So that kind of informs us of how we're going to market the supplier when they come in. Maybe a statement of how you're going to transition any current members or current customers who are CLC members. That's really important specific information, because our libraries will call us and say, can I use this now? And we really need to know how we're going to transition those members to the contract. We would like a description of your ordering portal, available customer service support resources, copy of your return policy. So these are just standard things that you can write in your product response, and just check them off as you go. That's why I provided some boxes, and it doesn't have to be long, although some of them are very long, and we're not keeping you to any number of specific pages. It's just as much as or as little as you need to answer the questions and give us kind of a complete idea of what we're going to be telling the members. So I'm going to bypass the instructions for Exhibit B because we'll be visiting Exhibit B, and I'll be going over that with you. Here are the different types of discounts that we've seen. There's a lot of other ways to offer discounts. We're looking at the whole package. So we're looking at discounts, and we're looking at prices, and we're looking at convenience, and we're looking at customer service. We're looking at the whole package for our members. So you might have the lowest price, but if you're charging really high shipping charges, it makes the price a lot higher. Another vendor might have a little bit of a higher price, and the shipping is included. So we're very cognizant and aware of all the different ways pricing and discounts can be offered. I know for some services, we don't want to discount people's payrolls, so it might be a cost plus, it might be off MSRP. So there's lots of different ways discounts can be offered. So we've seen all the different ways. So any way that your company does discounts will be analyzed. So this is informational about Exhibit B. So in the guide, we have provided just a guide for you how to submit your proposal. What we'd like you to do is send us a hard copy, one hard copy, and also put all of your files on a thumb drive and then send that with your bid. And the reason for that is because we have evaluators that are outside the organization that are part of our library community, and we send them the bid to analyze. So it's easier to do that electronically. So you can either do that or within an hour after the bid closes, and we've shown you that the bid closes on the 28th. Move that down a little bit. So on the 28th, at 2 o'clock, I believe it is, you send us the bid, the pricing discount schedule, and a copy of the contract template and the thumb drive, or you can send me an email through that vendors@ctlibrarians.org within an hour after the bid closes, and you can send me the files by email. Now, if I get a bid that's just a hard copy and I don't find the thumb drive in there, normally the first thing I'll do is I'll get on my computer and I'll email you. So whoever happens to be signing the bid will get an email within half an hour of the bid opening, and I was saying, can you send me the electronic files now? We need them now because the clock is ticking. I need them within an hour. So hopefully that person will be there at your company and on that moment, and they'll send me the files, or hopefully you'll remember. If you do send them early, we won't open them until after the bid. So that's really important in terms of sending the bid to us. It's important to remember that all public bids are open for disclosure to the public if they request it. So we provide a compilation of bids and bid documents for any FOI requests. So if you have something that's confidential or proprietary, whether it's the names of people or specific pricing that is confidential for you and you want to make sure it stays that way, you have to identify that when you put the bid in. So that's really important to remember. Just mark it confidential or proprietary. You can't mark the whole bid proprietary. It's not allowed. So you have to just pick the sections that you feel like are really confidential, if any, and mark those specifically. So we put that information in there for you because if you've done public bids before, you probably understand that they are all discoverable under the Freedom of Information Act. These are some of the stipulations. I won't go through them because they're pretty self-explanatory. It talks about brands and samples. We have the terms here. We're agreeing to a term of July 1st, 2023, and we're going until June 30th, 2026, with 2 options to extend. It's a 3 to 5 year contract. So what we've decided to do is move the other vendors to a 3 to 5 year contract and just restart the contract and do a full duration. And it's because whoever will be awarded will be the incumbent. So you'll need 1 to 3 years to build the marketplace in the library community and get everybody used to using your company for all of their supplies. So we'll need more than just the 2 years that we have left on the current contract. So we're going to restart it, give the new suppliers 3 to 5 years, and help market the contract to our members to make sure that they get in the habit of using your company. That takes a little time to do. So we're aware of that. The administrative fee we discussed. These are just stipulations. Hopefully you can read them. If you have any questions about them, please just let me know. I'm always available at the other end of the phone or by email. This is how we're going to be awarding. The timeliness and accuracy of the bid. Hopefully you'll get it in on time and the bid will have everything in it and you'll have your thumb drive and we'll be ready to go. The bidder's qualifications and experience, you'll be telling us that in the product description, product and company description that you'll be doing, the quality and the relevance of the solution, pricing, discount, and savings. And you'll notice that quality and relevance is first, and then pricing, discount, savings is together. So we're evaluating the package, not just pricing. We're evaluating ease of ordering, freight and shipping costs, customer service and support, and installation, maintenance, and value added. So we're looking for a package, a good package for our members to use that's easy and simple and accessible for them. We'll also be evaluating small businesses and women-owned businesses in a special category. And of course, this is to address the 25% set-aside law in Connecticut. We provided you with a response checklist. So all you need to do is check while you're putting these bids in your envelope. Have you done the response signature form? That's the very last signature form at the bottom of this bid. Your Exhibit B, which we'll be going over next, your company and product description. The contract template document completed. We're not asking you to fill it in. We're just asking you to look at all the stipulations, put some notes in there about some of the stipulations, how, if you need to change them and what the change is, or if you don't know what that information is, but you know that you're going to negotiate it, just put a note in there that says, so it just says, we'd like to negotiate this term. That's fine, just so that we know. So we need a hard copy of the original version and then a copy of your latest catalog if you have one available, or a website that you have where we can look at pictures and specifications. So send that to this address no later than 2 p.m. on February 28th, 2023. And your bid will, if we get it before then, your bid will be considered in on time. At the very bottom is the response signature form, and that is the form that you fill out and send back. You don't have to fill out the whole bid. You don't have to send us the whole bid, but you just send us this form. So the next thing I'd like you to look at is the bid response. these are the instructions to the bid response. This is Exhibit B that you're looking at right now. Deborah? Oh, sorry. Okay. Deborah, did you have a question or were you just chatting with someone? You just type it. Let me know. So this first page of the Excel spreadsheet that we sent out, at the very top of the first page, this is where you put your company name, contact name, phone number, address. A lot of people miss this page. So I wanted just to let you know on the very first page under instructions, if you could just please fill out the top. That's really helpful for our evaluators when they first look at it to know who they're looking at. So if you could just do that. The bid questions are an important part of the bid because it tells us a lot about the company and about some of the things that might restrict or some of the things we have to explain to our members. So we ask for market restrictions. We're not really evaluating you on market restrictions because there are some products that are just for specific people. So some products are really just for public libraries or just for academic libraries. So if that's the case for your product, just let us know in this form. So it doesn't make a difference if it's a yes or no, just as long as we know, so we can put that on the page. This is specifically for academic members, or this is for public members. Or maybe it's just for small schools. We have some suppliers that just do, elementary schools supplies. So that's okay. Just let us know in that response. And then how the pricing, discount, value-added service is unique for the CLC member. It's important for us to have contracts that have special services for our members that they can't get in the regular marketplace. So if what they're getting is the same thing that they're getting in the marketplace, you really don't need a contract for that. So we're hoping that you will give us something special for our members, whether it's a special value, special discount, special pricing. And so whatever that is, if you would explain it in number 2. Transitioning existing customers, that's something that we get asked about by members all the time. How do I get onto this contract? It's helpful to have a ready answer. We have a member services manager who needs that answer every time she picks up the phone and someone says, I want to work with so-and-so. What do I do? She needs to know how to transition that member to your contract. It could be a member that's already using your business that they now want to use the discount. It could be a member that that's never heard of your business or has never used your business that now wants to use the account. So that's an important question. If you could let us know how you're going to be transitioning those members. And then there are several questions about bulk, volume discounts. We'll go over that on the last page. The size of your catalog tells us what size company that you have and how many products and services that you'll be.
Jackie, it's not scrolling.
What are you seeing, Amanda? Are you
I see sales and oh, I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself. I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you for letting me know. So some of these questions, the size of the catalog, are informational. We're going to be putting some of the answers on your landing page, such as sales and ordering, how would a member verify they're getting the discount, how you transition members. So also there's a question about whether the discounts will be available to faculty and staff. Some contracts are, some contracts aren't, that's fine. And the sales and orders will go to our member service manager and she will connect you to our members every time someone calls. So this will be important information for them to have. So if you have any questions about the bid questions, just let me know. I think they're pretty straightforward. The bid forms are 3 forms that the state asks us to collect. One is a non-collusion statement that we haven't colluded, and the second one is a non-discrimination form. And the third one is a state of Connecticut affirmation of receipt of state ethics law. The state ethics law we're just required to let you know that there are state ethics laws, and we're supposed to provide you with the summary, where to find that. So this just tells us, yes, I have looked at this summary, or not just that I've received information about it. That's all we're asking you to do here. So the summary of the state ethics law webpage is at the bottom. So we just need to let you know that that's where it is. And if you say, yes, okay, I see that's where it is, and then you can sign. Okay, so vendor terms are really, really important, because this is where you tell us how to do business with you. And there's quite a few questions, but it has to do with, you know, your credit card, your PO terms, your delivery time, your delivery methods, you know, what your shipping charges are, all of that. That's why it's on a separate page. The discount schedule is here. This is what we'll be sending evaluators, but the vendor terms land on your page, and that's how we tell members how to do business with you. This is not necessarily an evaluation page. This is an information page. So you're not going to be evaluated on your return policy. You're going to be evaluated on your discount schedule and prices. So it's really important for you to know that, so you can just be really, you know, explanatory here, and let us know what we should be telling the members when they are dealing with your company. So this is the bid page. I filled out the top for promotional supplies. This is a drop-down menu. If you choose, you'll get a drop-down on the bid category. So if you're doing some promotional supplies, you might be just doing a lot of promotional supplies on this bid, so you don't have a specific item number because you're going to bid on a whole category. That could be possible. I mean, you might have a lot of item numbers and a lot of product names and a lot of models and manufacturers. And if you do, and you want to include them, that's okay. If you just want to bid on a specific category like promotional supplies, all apparel, for instance, you might not need an item number, a model number, a manufacturing number, and you might not need that. And NA is fine and appropriate in those circumstances. And so this is the minimum order quantity. You may or may not have a minimum order quantity. Many suppliers who do supplies do have a minimum order quantity. And that's not really surprising, and for shipping, because of the freight charges. So the minimum order quantity is here, list price. I have a range in here because I was talking to a promotional supplier, and she's like, how do you fill this out? And I said, you may have a range. And we might have to go look at your catalog on your website to find out, you know, to do an analysis of different products. So it might be a range, you have a discount, and then you have a bid price, which will also be a range in this specific example. You might also just have all item numbers. You might have 100 items, and you're going to put every single item number, and they're each going to have their own discount. And so that might be appropriate too. So there are a couple of different ways to do the bid, and each way is fine. So if you aren't going to be filling out one of the lines, just put NA in there for me so that I understand that you didn't forget to do a line, that you did actually look at it and you said this is not appropriate. And that's helpful to me when we're compiling the information. So are there any other questions on this specific document?
I have a question.
Okay, thank you.
So like you were saying, for the promotional, like the one line example that you put in here. So are we able to use like NA for the list price and the bid price as well? Because, you know, like for using apparel as an example, it could be anywhere between like, you know, $2 for a shirt to like $200 for like a special jacket, you know what I mean? And we don't know until a request has come in for us to source it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. I know what you mean. And in here, it might just be variable, or, you know, I actually have put a range $9.99 to $129.99. And I see your point where apparel could be any price range from a dollar to whatever. So what we need just is instructions from you. Please look at our catalog, or please, you know, send us somewhere. That's all
Okay,
we
so
really need.
we can just write like C catalog right there
Yes.
for pricing. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, put C catalog. That would be great.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions about this page? Okay, so ancillary services, you may or may not, depending on your commodity, have set up. I mean, if you're setting up somebody and there's an onboarding fee because you have to set up some kind of computer back end or something, that might be a possibility for supplies. I'm not really sure if it is. If you charge for a help desk, or you have training that you charge for, that would go in this ancillary services space. Oftentimes with suppliers, this is blank, that's fine. If there's, because most of the time training and onboarding is just a part of your doing business, but this is a big thing for library equipment. And so we include it in all bids, but it may or may not apply to you, so. The additional discounts is where your volume price breaks that we talked about in the bid, your volume price breaks and other discounts are here. So there's a range. You might have FTE discounts for academics. That table could go here. You might have different ranges. That table could go here. So what I provided here is a volume price break example. It might be tiered, it might be volume, it might be based on money, it might be based on amount of students, it might be based on well, any number of things. My power just crashed in my house. So sorry, everybody.
So we had two questions. The first one is about the administrative fee, whether that, and Ashley, correct me if I don't get this right, whether it is 2% on the products only, or if it also is 2% on the shipping and extra fees.
Yes, that's right.
Usually the 2% is off of the products only and the CLC price. So it isn't on the full price. It's the CLC price minus the discount, minus returns and things like that that happen. So it's kind of a composite number. It's on that, and it's not including the freight or shipping and handling unless the freight is included.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
And Ashley's other question, Jackie, was about an ordering. Ashley, will you ask it again? You had the right language there.
Yes, so the online ordering platform that you guys had talked about, is that required at the to have set up at the beginning of the bid should we be accepted, or can we you know, spend the first like year and a half or so getting working with these new clients and libraries and see if it is even a good opportunity for us to spend the money to make that, since we have not been a part of CLC.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really important that that's a suggestion. So there are a lot of companies, and we have several on contract, that are small businesses that still do paper ordering. So it's not necessarily like this is how you're going to be judged. There's businesses that are in all different layers of of technology. So we like to send them to someplace where they can see the discount automatically. That's our ideal, and in some suppliers actually have that. They have a place where the members can just put it in their cart and see the discount. There are some who have to do orders through a customer service person to get the discount. So that person answers the call, they put in a sheet, they apply the discount, and that's how they get their discount. There are some that there's just lots of different ways to do it. I mean, you're seeing the ideal. We would love to have a landing page for our members, but there's lots of ways that our suppliers do businesses. We have more than 100 contracts, and a lot of them do business in a lot of different ways. And there are some who don't take paper orders at all, or will not take an email. And so there's different stipulations. So I think a good answer to your question, Ashley, is if we can build something and it's feasible, we will do that. If not, we won't.
Okay, thank you.
So I was on the very last page of Exhibit B, and we did cut off. I apologize to everybody. My phone is still flashing, and I'm sure that there's zeros all over my clocks all over the house. But if there are any other questions, please feel free to call me or email me. I'm happy to answer your questions. If you need to go over the documents in any other way, I'm happy to go over the documents with you. We will be closing the bid. We won't be extending it. It'll be closed on the 28th, 2 o'clock. And if you can send your bids along before that time, be thrilled. I see 2 chats. Are there any other? She's
Nope.
going to blame the cat. Yeah, it's the cat's fault. Thanks, Molly. That's exactly what I'm going to blame the cat. So my email address is there. Okay, Matt, do you want to ask it now or do you want to talk just to me?
Oh, I'd appreciate being able to ask. Thanks a lot for holding this session this afternoon.
Of course.
We're based in Maryland. We manufacture learning materials specifically for makerspace programs, their kits. We know that we need to register with the state in order to do business with the State Library Consortium. So just wanted to make sure that that's a typical process. We're not currently doing business with you. So, is that something that all businesses are foreign entities need to register with the state, go ahead and establish their foreign LLC or their foreign C Corp or however they're set up?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
everybody. And it's
No
on
problem.
the DIS site because everybody on DIS is required to do it. I think it's a 1 to 2 page form. And in Connecticut, it is a requirement. So
Okay.
I think it's a good idea to do it now, only because you probably, now that you know that there's a big library market in Connecticut.
Sure, of
Should
course.
you be awarded or not, it might be great to do the business.
Oh no, it's a no-brainer. The question is, we submitted and then it was kicked back our way for a technicality. We just want to make sure that in terms of timing, if we haven't received final approval or sort of a entity number through that process,
Mhm.
by the time we submit, does that count against us, or can we just show evidence that the process has been started?
I would put, and we have a lot of suppliers who are in the process of doing that. So I would
Yes.
put pending
Great.
in that line, just to let us
Great.
know that it's coming and you've already started it.
Thank you so much. Really helps a lot.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else? Okay, well, I want to thank you all for coming. I apologize for the quick electric flurry that happened, but if you have any other questions, please let me know and have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming.